I tested my partner's loyalty by having my friend flirt with him. He failed spectacularly. When I confronted him, "Want to explain what happened last night?" he stammered. "Nothing happened." I played the recording. "This doesn't sound like nothing." His face went white. "You set me up?" I replied. "And you fell for it." The backfire when he said, "I, 28, just ended my 3-year relationship in the most spectacular way possible, and honestly, I'm still processing everything that went down. So, here's the thing. My boyfriend, 31M, and I had been together for 3 years. Good relationship, or so I thought. We talked about moving in together, maybe getting engaged next year, the whole 9 yards. About 6 weeks ago, I started noticing some stuff. Nothing major, just off. He'd been extra touchy about his phone, staying late at work more often, being weird about making plans. Classic signs, right? But when I'd ask about it, he'd get all defensive and accuse me of being paranoid. My best friend since college offered to help me figure out if something was actually going on. She's gorgeous, single, and has zero interest in my boyfriend. Perfect for what I had in mind. The plan was simple. She'd show up at the bar where he goes every Thursday with his coworkers. Strike up a conversation. See what happens. I'd be listening in real time through her phone on a call, recording everything. Thursday night comes around. I'm sitting in my car 2 blocks away, heart absolutely pounding, half hoping I'm wrong about everything. The first 20 minutes were normal bar chat. Then I heard her laugh and say something like, "So, do you come here often?" Real smooth. His response made my stomach drop. Every Thursday, better view now, though. They talked for maybe 40 minutes and let me tell you, this man was working, complimenting her eyes, her smile, asking about her interests. At one point, he literally said, "I don't usually do this, but you're different. Can I get your number?" My best friend, absolute legend, goes, "Don't you have a girlfriend?" His response, "It's complicated. We're basically roommates at this point." Roommates. 3 years together and I'm a roommate. She pushed a bit more and he actually started talking about how suffocating our relationship was, how I was too needy, how he was planning to end things soon. Anyway, I let it run for another 10 minutes before I texted her to wrap it up. She gave him a fake number and left. I went home before him, acted completely normal when he got back around 11 p.m. He kissed me hello, asked about my day, the whole routine. I wanted to scream. The next morning, over coffee, I decided to do it. Me. "Hey, want to explain what happened last night?" Him barely looking up from his phone. "What?" "Nothing happened. I was at the bar with work people." Me. "Right? Nothing happened." Him. "Why are you being weird?" I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Started right from better view now, though. The color literally drained from his face. Like, I've heard that expression before, but never actually saw it happen. He went from normal to straight up pale in seconds. Him. "What? What is this?" Me. "This doesn't sound like nothing." I let it play. The compliments, the number request, the roommate's comment, his complaints about me being needy. Him standing up, voice getting loud. "You set me up. Are you insane?" Me. "And you fell for it." Interesting priority there. Not "I'm sorry I tried to cheat," but "how dare you catch me." This is entrapment. You can't just, "This doesn't count." You manipulated the situation. Me. "I created an opportunity. You made the choice." Here's where it gets wild. This man, this absolute piece of work, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "If you weren't so insecure and controlling, I wouldn't have needed to look elsewhere. You made me do this." I literally laughed. Not like a bitter laugh, just genuine shock at the audacity. Me. "Oh, this is my fault." Him. "You tested me like I'm some kind of criminal. What kind of psycho does that? If you had just trusted me." Me. "You just tried to get another woman's number while telling her your girlfriend of 3 years is basically a roommate you're planning to dump. But sure, I'm the problem." Him. "You know what? Maybe I should have cheated on you. At least then this crazy stunt would be justified." That's when I told him to get out. He refused at first. "It's my apartment, BTW. Only my name on the lease." So, I called my brother, who showed up in 15 minutes. My boyfriend tried to act all tough, but packed a bag real quick when my brother just stood there, arms crossed. As he's leaving, he goes, "You'll regret this. No one's going to want someone as paranoid and manipulative as you." I changed the locks that afternoon. Cost me $200, but worth every penny. Now, here's where I need advice. He's been blowing up my phone, not apologizing, mind you, telling me I overreacted and we need to talk about my trust issues. He's also apparently told his friends and family that I set him up and he's the victim of my crazy test. His mom even called me yesterday saying I humiliated her son and that testing someone's loyalty is abuse. I'm not backing down. I know what I heard, but apparently I'm the villain in his version of events. Am I crazy here? Did I actually do something wrong? Update 1 posted 4 days later. Holy crap! I did not expect that response. Thank you all for the validation. I was seriously starting to question my sanity. So things have escalated in the most predictable yet infuriating ways. Remember how he was blowing up my phone? Well, that continued for 3 days straight. We're talking 30, 40 messages a day. Started with the "we need to talk" stuff, evolved into angry rants about my psychological abuse. Then somehow circled back to "I miss you, baby." I didn't respond to any of it. Just screenshotted everything for my records. Then his mom called again 3 times in one day. I made the mistake of answering the third call. Her. "You need to apologize to my son and take him back." Me. "I'm sorry." What? Her. "He made a tiny mistake and you completely overreacted. Boys will be boys. You can't expect perfection." Me. "He tried to cheat on me." Her. "He didn't actually cheat. He just talked to someone. You're punishing him for something he didn't even do." The mental gymnastics were Olympic level. I told her to lose my number and hung up. But wait, there's more. His friends started DMing me on social media. His best friend since high school sent me this long message about how loyalty tests are toxic and I violated his trust by spying on him. The irony was completely lost on this dude. Another one of his buddies literally said, "You're going to ruin his reputation over this. Think about what you're doing to his future relationships." I replied, "His behavior will ruin his reputation. I'm just being honest about what happened." Then I blocked him. Then, and this is where I started getting actually pissed, my ex somehow got my Netflix, Hulu, and Spotify passwords changed. All accounts I paid for but shared with him. Petty, yes. Annoying. Extremely. I recovered the accounts. Thank God for email verification, and changed everything. But it showed me he was willing to be vindictive. Yesterday morning, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "You really think you're better than him? You're a manipulative witch who can't keep a man." He dodged a bullet. I didn't respond, but I'm 99% sure it was either him from a different phone or one of his friends. Here's the thing that really got me though. I ran into his cousin at Target. We'd been friendly during the relationship, grabbed coffee a few times. She saw me, made eye contact, and literally turned her cart around to avoid me. The dude has apparently told everyone that I psychologically tortured him with mind games and he's the victim of an abusive relationship. My best friend, the one who helped with the test, has been getting nasty messages too. People calling her a homewrecker and saying she helped destroy a relationship. The logic doesn't even make sense, but here we are. Last night, my ex texted me from yet another new number. "I'm willing to forgive you if you admit what you did was wrong. We can go to coos therapy and work through your trust issues. I still love you despite everything." I almost threw my phone. The audacity. He's willing to forgive me. I responded with "just lose this number too" and blocked it. But honestly, I'm exhausted. His entire support system is treating me like I committed some horrible crime and he's out here playing victim like he didn't try to cheat on me while insulting me to a stranger. My friends and family are firmly on my side, which helps. My mom was ready to drive to his workplace and have words with him until I convinced her that wouldn't help. I'm standing my ground. I know I did the right thing. But damn, the aftermath is more draining than I expected. One positive note. I've been sleeping better than I have in months. No more wondering if something was off. No more anxiety about his weird behavior. Just peace. Angry peace, but still peace. We'll update if anything else wild happens. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up with a billboard proclaiming his victimhood. Update 2 posted 9 days later. Buckle up because my ex took things to a whole new level of pathetic. So, after my last update, things were quiet for about 3 days. I thought maybe he'd finally gotten the message and moved on. Nope. Last Tuesday, I got a call at work from my boss. Apparently, my ex had called the office, asked to speak to her, and told her I was going through a mental health crisis and needed time off to seek help. My boss, absolute gem of a woman, was more confused than concerned. She called me into her office and basically said, "Your ex-boyfriend just called here with some weird story. Want to tell me what's actually going on?" I explained the whole situation. She was horrified. Told me to document everything in case I needed a restraining order and sent me back to work with a "let me know if he contacts this office again." But my ex wasn't done. Oh no. That same day he showed up at my apartment building. I wasn't home, thank God. But my neighbor texted me that some guy was sitting in a car outside for 2 hours just watching the entrance. She got a photo. It was definitely him. I filed a police report. The officer was less than helpful. Basically said, unless he threatened me or trespassed, there wasn't much they could do. "He's just sitting in a public space, ma'am." Cool, cool, very reassuring. Then came the real kicker. My ex created a burner Instagram account and posted about our breakup. Didn't use my name, but had enough details that anyone who knew us would know it was about me. The post was this long dramatic thing about how he was betrayed by someone he trusted and manipulated into a situation designed to make him look bad. The comments from his friends were all supportive. "You dodged a bullet, bro. She sounds crazy. Loyalty tests are emotional abuse. My best friend sent me screenshots because I don't follow him. Obviously, I was livid, but I didn't respond. Didn't make my own post. Didn't comment. Nothing. Just let him scream into the void. But then, and this is where I decided enough was enough, he had the absolute audacity to Venmo request me for $850. The memo, half of what I spent on you the last 3 months. I'm sorry, what? I looked at my Venmo. He'd sent multiple requests. $150 for birthday dinner I paid for. $200 for concert tickets. $120 for grocery runs. $380 for various dates and gifts. First of all, we always split things fairly evenly. Second, the birthday dinner. I paid for half. The concert, those were tickets to see his favorite band that I wasn't even that into. The groceries for meals at his place. The entitlement was mind-blowing. I didn't respond to the Venmo requests, just declined all of them. Within an hour, he texted from another new number. So, you're just going to steal from me, too? Add theft to manipulation. That's when I decided to stop playing defense and go on offense. I called up a lawyer friend, not for anything official, just advice. She told me that while I couldn't do much legally yet, I could send a cease and desist letter. Basically, a formal stop contacting me or I'll pursue legal action notice. Cost me $300 to have her draft it properly and send it via certified mail to both his address and his parents' house. But I didn't stop there. Remember that recording? I still had it. So, I made a decision. I called his best friend, the one who'd lectured me about loyalty tests being toxic. Left him a voicemail. Hey, since you're so concerned about the truth, I'm happy to send you the actual recording of what your buddy said about his roommate girlfriend. Let me know if you want to hear what loyalty really sounds like. I didn't actually plan to send it. I just wanted him to squirm. Then I called his mom. She answered on the second ring. If you're calling to apologize. Me? I'm calling to tell you that your son tried to cheat on me, called me a roommate to another woman, and has been harassing me for 2 weeks. I filed a police report and sent a cease and desist. If he contacts me again, I'm pursuing a restraining order. I'd suggest you tell him to move on with his life. Her? How dare you threaten my I hung up. Felt good. Really good. That evening, my best friend and I went through all the mutual friend connections we had with him on social media and blocked everyone who'd sent nasty messages or taken his side. Scorched earth policy. I also posted on my own Instagram. Nothing specific, just grateful for friends who respect boundaries and honesty. Here's to surrounding yourself with people who value integrity. Petty, maybe satisfying. Absolutely. Since the cease and desist got delivered yesterday, my phone has been blessedly quiet. No new texts, no calls, no Venmo requests. My lawyer friend warned me he might violate it. A lot of people do. But at least now I have legal documentation of escalating harassment if I need it. I'm also looking into therapy. Not because I think I did anything wrong, but because processing all this has been a lot. Plus, I want to make sure I don't carry this baggage into my next relationship. The weird part, I don't miss him at all. Not even a little bit. I miss the relationship. I thought we had the future I thought we were building. But him specifically, the guy who tried to cheat, blamed me, sicked his family on me, and then sent me a Venmo request for dates he chose. Good riddance. Update 3 final posted 18 days later. Alright, final update. Because this saga finally has an ending. The cease and desist worked for about 4 days. Then my ex apparently decided that legal warnings were just suggestions. He showed up at my gym. My gym, the one I'd been going to for 2 years, that he'd only visited maybe twice when we were together. I walked in Tuesday morning for my usual 6 a.m. workout, and there he was on a treadmill, staring at the entrance. The second he saw me, he hopped off and started walking over. I immediately went to the front desk and told the staff member there was someone harassing me and I needed help. My ex started with, "We need to talk. You can't just ignore me forever." The gym employee, this buff dude named Travis, who I'd seen around but never talked to, stepped between us. "Travis, sir, the lady doesn't want to talk to you. You need to leave." My ex? This is between me and my girlfriend. Me? Ex, and I have a cease and desist against you. Travis told him he had 30 seconds to leave or he'd call the police. My ex tried to argue, but Travis literally started counting down. 30, 29, 28. My ex left at 15, but not before yelling across the gym, "You're going to regret this." I filed another police report. This time, the officer took it more seriously since there was a witness and documented prior harassment. They went to his apartment and gave him an official warning, basically one step before a restraining order. That evening, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was his dad. I'd met the guy twice in 3 years. He and my ex weren't close. His dad. "Look, I heard what's been going on. My son's behavior is unacceptable. I want you to know I told him to leave you alone." "Me? Okay." "His dad. His mother enables him. Always has. But showing up at your gym, harassing your work, that's not okay. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Honestly, it was the first reasonable thing anyone from his family had said. I thanked him and hung up. 2 days later, I got a Facebook message from a woman I didn't know. Let's call her Jessica. Jessica, hi. I know this is random, but are you my name? I think we might have dated the same guy. My stomach dropped. I asked her to elaborate. Turns out my ex had been seeing someone else for the last month of our relationship, not the girl from the bar. An entirely different woman he'd met through work. Jessica had no idea he had a girlfriend until they broke up 2 weeks ago, and she started asking around about him. She'd heard through mutual connections about our breakup and the loyalty test drama. When she pressed him about it, he admitted he'd been dating both of us simultaneously. According to Jessica, he told her that I was crazy and jealous and our relationship was basically over. Sound familiar? We talked on the phone for an hour, compared timelines. The overlap was crystal clear. Dinners I thought he had for work, he was with her. The nights he was too tired to see me, also with her. The loyalty test didn't just catch him trying to cheat, it caught him actively cheating. Jessica was horrified. She'd broken up with him because he was too intense and clingy. Ironic, but now understood why. She sent me screenshots of their conversations, including several where he complained about me. I won't lie, finding out he'd actually cheated hurt worse than the attempted cheating, but it also validated everything. I sent one final text to my ex from a free texting app number. I know about Jessica. I know you were cheating the entire last month. Your lies finally caught up with you. Don't contact me ever again. I mean it. Then I blocked that number too. He tried to call me 16 times over the next 3 hours from different numbers. I didn't answer any of them. His best friend actually reached out and apologized. Said my ex had finally admitted the full truth to his friends and they were done covering for him. Apparently even his mom backed off after his dad told her about the actual cheating. The Instagram post mysteriously disappeared. The Venmo requests were withdrawn. The harassment finally stopped. It's been quiet for a week now. I'm cautiously optimistic. It's actually over. I've started seeing a therapist weekly. We're working through the betrayal, the gaslighting, all of it. She's helped me realize that the loyalty test wasn't manipulation. It was me trusting my gut when something felt off. Jessica and I got coffee last weekend. We're not going to be best friends or anything, but it was cathartic to talk to someone who understood exactly how good my ex was at lying. I also joined a new gym. Fresh start. No chance of running into him. The apartment feels different now. I rearranged furniture, got new throw pillows, put up different artwork, making it mine again instead of ours. My best friend keeps asking if I'm doing okay, if I'm eating enough, if I need anything. The support has been overwhelming in the best way. As for my ex, last I heard from Jessica, he's apparently telling people we're both crazy and he's the victim of 2 women conspiring against him. The mental gymnastics continue. But here's the thing. I don't care anymore. He can tell whatever story he wants. The people who matter know the truth. I did what I needed to do to protect myself, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. The loyalty test revealed exactly who he was. A cheater, a liar, and a coward who couldn't even own his actions. So, yeah, I tested his loyalty. He failed spectacularly. And when he tried to flip it on me, calling me crazy and manipulative, it just proved I made the right choice. No regrets. None. I'm 28 years old. I've got my whole life ahead of me. And I'll be damned if I waste another second on someone who saw me as a roommate instead of a partner. To everyone who supported me through this mess, thank you. To everyone who called me crazy for the loyalty test, I hope you never have to learn the hard way why sometimes you need to trust your gut. And to my ex, if you're somehow reading this, I hope someday you figure out how to be honest with yourself and others. But that's not my problem anymore. I'm done.